beautiful friends, welcome back to my channel. So a lot of you have been asking me about intermittent fasting and how to do it, and I just went online and I found there were video courses on how you could do it, and there's a huge list of do's and don'ts and how to go about that diet. I'm gonna break it down for you guys as I always do, and I'm gonna do it in the desi muscles way, which means I will tell you exactly what the science is and all that jargon behind it is, but I will also break it down and tell you why it will work or it will not work on you. Fasting does not mean complete deletion of food from your system. That's what starvation is. But in case when we say fasting, that means you're going to be off and on food for a while. You all know the word breakfast, right? And it's always break fast, so that means you are fasting for a couple of hours before you eat the next meal. So go online and you see all the content that's given on intermittent fasting. You will find people giving you a lot of procedures on how it can be done or it should be done, and you will also find a lot of people saying it as an ancient art of losing weight. And to that I'm going to give you a very simple example, and you'll actually relate to it, and that's where you will come to know that intermittent fasting is nothing but another modern day jargon that's being sold to you about something that already exists in our system. Remember in the 80s, a very popular toothpaste brand that we're using right now used to advertise saying that salt damages your teeth, and now the same company is selling you toothpaste which says this is good because it has salt in it. So that's exactly what has happened to intermittent fasting. This is no jargon that came up in the West. This is something which we Indians have been doing it forever. My Nanaji did it, my Dadaji did it, everyone you know in your family did it. Talk to anyone in the 80s or go back and see any movie from the 70s and 80s, and they will always give you that term do waqt ki roti. Why was it do waqt ki roti? Why don't they say 6 time ka khana, or like waqt ki roti or 4 time ki roti or 6 meal prep ka khana? But they always say do waqt ki roti because that's how Indians have always been used to eating. So intermittent fasting is nothing else but do waqt ki roti. And when you say the word fasting and intermittent fast articles I found, they said that going for a 24-day fast, and there's this term called the fast diet which actually says you should go in for a 2-day fast and then 5 days of eating. Our ancestors have done it all the time. My nanny used to do it, my mother still does it. She keeps like 2 fasts in a week, so automatically they're following the intermittent fasting thing, and you don't know about it. Is intermittent fasting. Basically, the intermittent fasting divides your eating pattern into 2 categories. One is feeding and one is fasting. What happens when you're feeding is that when you eat food, your insulin level goes up, and that insulin is basically used to convert food into stored energy, first in terms of glycogen, which is the readily usable energy form, and then excess of it is stored as fat. Now this happens when you're feeding. And during the other period when you're not feeding is fasting, where your insulin level goes really down, and that's where the stored fat, it triggers the body to use the stored fat as energy, and that's where the whole fat burning comes into a kick. What happens when you do this periods of feeding and fasting? What you're actually doing over a period of time is regularizing your insulin and making your body more insulin sensitive, which means your efficiency to convert food into stored fat and stored fat back into energy is faster, which means your system gets a little more efficient and your weight loss is going to be faster. Along with it, I think what also happens in the intermittent fasting, which you don't really find in all of the books and all of the material that's available, is that you can only eat as much food in one go as you can. So it automatically switches you into a mode where you're kind of conscious about the calories that you'll be intaking. Anyways, everyone knows that during Ramadan, when you keep rosas, this exact same thing happens. But what happens is when you break your fast, usually you end up eating foods which are very high in sugar or fried. If you could replace that with your normal meals, I think intermittent fasting will work for most people. I tried it for 1 or 2 days. It kind of works for me, not exactly, because I have migraine, and very low blood sugar for me triggers my migraine, and for me losing fat is not as important as being fit and walking around without a migraine. So I technically, it doesn't work for me on a long term basis, but if it has worked for a lot of people over a period of time. My Nana ji did the diet that I have just done all his life, and he lived till the age of 86. He was never obese, and for him it was very set. There was one very big breakfast meal, and there was one very big dinner meal that used to happen at like 7:30, and then he used to sleep by 10 o'clock. And that's been his schedule throughout his life, and he walked almost 10K every day for the most part of his life. So it's, first of all, intermittent fasting is not something which recently came up. It has been the way Indians have been eating throughout, till Americans came over and told us that, oh, you know what, it should be eating every 2 hours, and some dietitian told you that, and everyone started following it. So there are no rules, and there are no do's and don'ts, and something works. The thing is, something's gonna work for someone else. You can't really generalize it and say that intermittent diet is not going to work or it's going to work for everyone. There are people who it works for, there are people who it doesn't work for. Somebody with a very low BMIs, if you're pregnant, if you're lactating, this diet legit will not work for you. You would need to have more amount of food going in your system. For someone like me who has migraines, and my migraines are triggered by low blood sugar, again, this is something that doesn't work. But if you're trying to lose weight and if you think you can go in for such a diet, it can work for you. The whole idea is not to control the calories and see what I'm eating. The whole idea is just to have 2 meals a day. And if I have to break it down and oversimplify it in my desi muscles language, intermittent diet is the waqt ki roti. Go ask your Nana ji, go ask your Dada ji, go ask your Dadi or your Nani, sit with them, understand how they were eating. And I'm sure the answer would be most of them are never obese, or who have never been obese. The do waqt ki roti concept, from the time that they were young till now, I can assure you they've been fit. Unlike them, the moment we roll out of bed, we want something to eat, and the moment we're going back to bed, I think we're eating or munching on something or the other, and that's where the damage is happening. I actually give you a diet plan that will work or may not work for you, but in the whole desi muscles way. So this is gonna be my opening of the fast. It is around 10ish in the morning, and I'm gonna be breaking my fast with fruit first. So going in my system along with a banana. Along with fruit, the next thing I'm gonna add to my meal before I actually go on to my main meal is gonna be a little bit of nuts. In my case, it's gonna be a little bit of almonds and walnuts, but you're free to choose whatever nut you want to choose. I personally like walnuts and almonds because they work better for me. The fruit, I am starting up with my proper meal, and for me today is this dal, which is basically a moong dal and some salad, and I'm gonna load up the carbs I need for the day. So it's gonna be loads of roti. In my case, it's like 4 rotis right now. Yeah, that's about it. Guys, it's about 9 o'clock right now, and I have a random pimple that I don't like, but besides the point. So I'm going to have the second meal of the day, which is breaking the fast. It's basically tomatoes, onion, broccoli and carrot, and this is something that I made in my KitchenAid, and I shared the video with you guys on Instagram. So this is going to be my first meal. A lot of you guys have also asked me if the soup that comes out of the artisan blender actually tastes nice. It tastes exactly like the soup you would have made in a pressure cooker and blended it and reheated it. Meal for me comprises of a bowl of rice, loads of salad. I think I might have another serving of roti, so that might be 2 rotis, and this is masaledar, lovely made rajma. So this is for now, but the rajma was way too spicier than what I anticipated it to be. So I am gonna finish by munching some papaya. Very big benefit intermittent fasting has been claiming to do is the fact that it increases the human growth hormone levels to about 5-folds when you are fasting, which if you couple it with a good training program can actually help you build muscle as well. But this is all overcomplication of a concept that already existed in our system, and that is the waqt roti. So guys, if you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up. Do subscribe to my channel. I'm trying to make 2 videos every week. If there are any questions you have, drop me an email in the email given below in the description box, and I shall see you next time.